Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Well, Lindsay's on Meet the Press and he's off his meds. A number of things that Lindsay said here. We'll look into those. He argued that Joe Biden has screwed up the world in every way you can. That's not hyperbole, is it? He was saying that Biden's perpetuated broken borders, the world's on fire, that when Biden regretted using the term illegal to describe Jose Antonio Ibarra, the Venezuelan who was charged with the murder of Ms. Riley. Graham interjected to say that him apologizing for using that term really pissed Lindsay off. Well, thank God we now know what pisses Lindsay off. Lisa Murkowski had a quote. He was asked to respond to this quote. Lisa Murkowski, she's a senator from Alaska, said, "Let's just not even exist as a Senate then if we have to ask permission from Donald Trump for everything we do." Graham disputed that, saying that Trump doesn't call the shots in the Senate and that he's voted against stuff that Trump likes. And he would counter Lisa Murkowski saying, would you support the idea that our allies should pay us back if they can when we're $34 trillion in debt? Referencing he doesn't want to give funding to Ukraine. He wants to give a loan to Ukraine to make Ukraine pay us back. How? Their industries have been shattered by this war. When are they supposed to get around to doing that? And again, this whole thing about funding or aid for Ukraine, you act like we're going to have helicopters with giant bags of cash that we're dropping in Kiev. That's not how it works. The aid is military equipment, military ammunition, stuff like that. And where is that made? Oh, it's made in the United States. It's already probably in U.S. storage. So, you take the stuff that we have in storage, you give it to Ukraine, and then the manufacturers of, say, artillery shells or artillery systems or HIMARS missiles, they make more of those. The United States government buys them and puts them back in the United States stores. So we're basically giving our material that's aging out on the shelf to Ukraine, and we're replacing with fresh new material that doesn't need to be cycled out. In other words, we're not dumping. It's like, when you have milk in the milk case and you have to sell it by the expiration date. We're giving that milk to Ukraine before the expiration date so that they can use it. If we held on to it, it would expire and we'd have to dump it. And you'd have to pay toxic waste fees to dump it. It's a win-win. We're not dumping bags of money. We're giving them stuff. And then the U.S. government buys to replace it, which pays the companies, pays taxes, pays the workers who pay taxes. It cycles back in. This narrative that the GOP has that somehow we're just dropping bags of gold coins in Ukraine is just folly, but their listeners believe in it. With regards to the war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza, Joe Biden suggested that the war could end if Hamas would release the hostages, and that Lindsay doesn't believe that. And he says President Trump, this is already going back to the Lisa Murkowski thing now, President Trump believes it's non-negotiable when it comes to Hamas. They have to be destroyed militarily. They can't be in charge. So, okay, so Lisa Murkowski says Trump's calling the shots in the Senate, and Lindsay says that's not true. Then Lindsay immediately goes and quotes Donald Trump as to what the Senate in the United States should do. And then he also questioned Biden's mental fitness and that he should get in a room with Donald Trump and debate. Oh, that'll be fun. Oh, yeah, let's have a debate on that one. Biden basically hasn't ruled out general election debates, but hasn't committed to them. Basically, as Joe Biden quoted, it depends on his behavior in response to whether he'll debate the president. In other words, will Trump actually answer questions, or is he just going to attack and rant like a Looney Tune? 5 minutes into it, here we go. So, what's this reading about? Oh, who knows? Let's do a general review of Lindsey Graham. It's been a few a few weeks to a few months since we've touched on Miss Lindsay and find out how he is doing these days. And purely for entertainment purposes only, Lindsay is entertaining. He is definitely entertaining. Come on down. He was laughing at during the State of the Union when Biden called him out by name, but apparently, ha ha ha, all those good feelings are gone. Lindsay. Now, once upon a time, Lindsay, said how much he liked Joe Biden. He was, a great guy and just a real honest person with high integrity. And now Lindsay's all over the place. What's currently going on in Lindsay's life? Entertainment purposes only. Lindsay's got agreements that he's upholding. Wonder who those agreements could possibly be with, since he's quoting Trump. So he's now back in Trump's good graces, carrying his water, drinking the tea, drinking the Kool-Aid. What's crossing this? Justice. How interesting. In the Empress. Lindsay, you've never looked so good. Okay, I'm teasing. I don't think Miss Lindsay cross-dresses. This is about agreements that Lindsay has. The Senate, even McConnell is giving Trump their endorsement, so Lindsay's carrying the water for the Senate in the GOP in the Senate. Trump's the presumptive, he's going to be the presumptive nominee for the GOP since Nikki Haley dropped out, so he's got to play nice and support Donald Trump. What's crossing this is the justice card. Lindsay has managed to dodge some things, like the Georgia RICO case, for instance. And basically in the Georgia RICO case, if you listen to the rumors, he completely and utterly tossed Donald Trump under the bus. So he's got to keep going out publicly supporting Trump, but at the same time, he doesn't support Trump. He's trying to avoid going to prison himself. And I think really where I was going with this, the first thing I thought of when I saw this, Lindsay's trying to keep his nose clean. He does not want to go to prison. He is not going to expose himself. Expose? I hope he's not exposing himself. He's not going to really stick his neck out for Donald Trump. He's not going to break any laws for Trump. He's gotten close enough and he's dodged that bullet that he is pulled away from that aspect. He will verbally support Donald Trump, but he's not going to do anything more than that. And if he can go on in there and attack Joe Biden, well, that's a pretty safe thing to do. Underneath it all is the Empress. Everybody getting enough. Who is the Empress underneath this? Is this Lindsay? Is this... To me, this is Lindsay trying to keep all the balls in the air, as it were. He's trying to keep his constituents happy. Most of his constituents support Donald Trump, so he's got to say good things about Donald Trump if he wants to maintain the support of his constituency. The Senate Republican leadership has backed Trump, so if he wants to continue to stay with great committee assignments and stay in the good graces of the GOP, he's got to support Donald Trump. Any fundraising has to go through MAGA, supporting Donald Trump. So basically, Lindsay's whole verbal thing with Donald Trump and attacking Biden is to make sure that he's staying right in the center of the good graces with the GOP, but at the same time, not doing anything that's going to get him into any type of legal jeopardy. In the past, we have the Nine of Cups. Lindsay likes to drink, and we've seen him go on the news intoxicated a few times. How many times has Lindsay broken up with Donald Trump only to come right back to him again? Lindsay's on a string. They between Trump and Putin, they play him like a yo-yo. When he starts going too far away, you roll him back up nice and close to you, and then you let him unravel and keep bouncing him back and forth. Once upon a time, Lindsay was a respected member in the Senate, John McCain era. But Lindsay is who Lindsay is. And he's always been this way. It's just that with McCain gone, not there to protect him and give him a moral compass with which to guide his ship by, and he cozied up with Trump, you got to see who Lindsay really was. He's Wormtail from Harry Potter. Current situation is the Ten of Swords. Whew. That's interesting. Things being brought to an end, to a conclusion. It's the legal stuff. Lindsay, I think, actually, it's funny. I think he actually sees the writing on the wall with Trump, and he knows that Trump is going down with these court cases, but he's not going to rock the boat. He's not going to rock the boat because in some ways, I guess, if Trump goes down, he might take people down with him. Well, he definitely will take people down with him. And I think Lindsay's a little bit concerned that he's going to go down, all these double entendres. He is going to go down with the ship just like Trump will. Trump will bring Lindsay down if Lindsay doesn't show his loyalty. But here's the thing. For Trump, loyalty, you going out there and verbally supporting Trump is like, it's almost negative loyalty. You know what I mean? It's like, if you go out and support him like that, he has a higher expectation for you. So he always wants more, too much and never enough. It's never enough for him. So the more you support, like to get to the Marjorie Taylor Greene level, it's still not enough for him. Where you could have some other senator who never says anything about Donald Trump, and Trump just ignores that guy because, he never says anything anyway, so he's a nobody. But for people that are on Trump's radar, he keeps wanting more and more and more and more. So by Lindsay, if Lindsay just shut up and ignored Trump, that would be one thing. But he can't. So there's always more to be expected out of Lindsay. Overarching energy is the Emperor. Somebody's calling the shots. Somebody calls the shots with Lindsay. Lindsay is not his own master. He's got a master over him, and that's who he's in the agreements with. Again, Lindsay's worried about going to prison, but he's got a real fine line to walk, keeping his nose clean while supporting Trump. Russia. There's a Russia component there between these two cards. It's the Russian compromise. Whatever they got from the RNC server or something, they've got stuff on Lindsay. It's probably Russian related. Oh, lesson to be learned. You shouldn't go drinking with young boys or with young men. Powerful man. Young people, weirdness happening, drinking out of the cup. Yeah, Lindsay got himself blackmailed. He classic Russian compromise. They caught him, they caught him in a hotel room with a dead woman or a live boy type thing. Yeah, Lindsay, it comes across as looking weird to us if you just look at it at face value, but there's a lot of stuff going on underneath. But likely Lindsay got himself into some issues with that. And that's what leads to what looks like his lack of integrity or his ever-shifting values. Lindsay might even be going a little bit cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, too. His emotions are all over the place. But, you got drinking that's going to be involved with it. Yeah, no, he's got agreements going on. He's trying to stay out of trouble. But, you've got blackmail over you. You've got things that you've done in the past that's being used as compromise by this person. Yet the person, if you're with Trump, you run into issues with the law. So what do? He just tries to put out whatever fires he can, waiting for Trump to go down. There's that double entendre again. Waiting for Donald Trump to become irrelevant. God, Lindsay, he really should just retire. Okay, now here's the question for you. Let's go ahead and ask that, because we often ask that, right? It's like, why does he do it? Why doesn't he just get away from it? And I'm going to ask that, why does Lindsay keep doing this? Why doesn't he just leave the Senate? Is it because he leaves, they'll reveal it anyways? Is it that if he stays, he's protected from the law? Is it that his whole identity is tied up with the Senate? Without the Senate, he is nothing. Why is Lindsay twisting himself in a pretzel while staying in the Senate? Why doesn't he leave? What's the energy around Lindsey Graham and his persistence in staying in the Senate and just being humiliated? I mean, literally, it's like he's the kid with the kick me sign on the back of his shoulder. And that'll be a great thumbnail if I can remember it. I'm going to put the kick me sign. Because that's who Lindsay is, man. He's that guy with the kick me sign. The only difference is he knows they put it on his back and he doesn't seem to have the spine to remove it. And that's what's kind of sad and somewhat pathetic. You don't want to see anybody abused like that, but at the same time, you got to stand up for yourself. And he doesn't seem to want to do it, and we don't understand why he won't, because we don't have all this. We don't have all the story. So why is Lindsay hanging around the Senate? Why is he walking around with the spiritual kick me sign on him? Why isn't he doing something about it? What is it that we don't know? Again, entertainment purposes only. Well, because he's got agreements. That would be interesting. That would be interesting if... Sorry, I'm going to have some of my pistachio cold brew from Starbucks. Yum. I don't know if this is a spiritual agreement, but there's some agreement on here. This could be a life path thing for him. That, he went in with this agreement that he was going to go through this emotional humiliation, and he'll keep going through it and through it. I'm waiting to see. It's funny, after calling the Knight of Swords card, I'll throw it out there. It's like, I wonder if this next card will show up, and it never shows up after that. We'll know if this is like a karmic thing, if the karmic card, the Wheel of Fortune, or like the World card comes up, because those are the cards of kind of like karma and such. But is this a spiritual thing or just an agreement that he's in? But he's going to keep repeating this, which is why I'm saying the Wheel of Fortune card. It'll keep repeating until he does something differently. Got the Ace of Swords. Why does he stay in the Senate? Why does he keep doing this to himself? You've got agreements here. You've got the Ace of Swords, which is a sword of justice and truth, and coming up with a direction, a goal, a quest. And then you got the Page of Pentacles, values and money. I'm not getting the idea. I'm not getting the idea it's spiritual. He's staying in. He's staying in because people have agendas for him. He owes people something. He's paid. He's like he's bought and paid for. And the people that are using Lindsay still have their agenda. I don't think this is his agenda. If Lindsay was passionate about certain, if he was passionate about certain agenda items or policy or something like that, I could see him staying in there for that reason. But he's malleable. It's like the goalposts move with him. So the Ace of Swords doesn't seem to indicate he's in there to make sure that LGBTQ rights are codified or something along those lines. It's almost like he lacks that passion. But I think what it is whoever he's in agreements in has an agenda, and Lindsay's kind of like bought and paid for. Underneath there, we've given you support, we've given you money, we're not done with our agenda item yet. In the past, you got the Ace of Cups. Lindsay, with his drinking and his emotional stability, going on TV drunk and getting all weepy and teary-eyed, You got a pair of aces here, so there's a lot of stuff going on that's behind the scenes that's keeping Lindsay in the Senate. Probably again, drunken behavior, losing control of your emotions. It's probably allowed for compromise on Lindsay again. It's almost like you'll do what we tell you to, or else we're gonna tell everybody what you did. I know what you did last summer, like the movie. Current situation. 5 of coins. Being left out. Being kicked out. Being cast out. I keep saying I think he lacks the passion. It's almost like, and maybe I'm wrong on this one, but maybe the Senate is his life. He's got nothing besides that. If I don't have the Senate, I have nothing. That's what this card is saying. It could also be funding gets cut off, but there's that abandonment there. Why is he still in the Senate? There's an abandonment issue. Well, they also say Lindsay likes strong men, powerful men. He's just like Trump's attracted to autocrats. Lindsay's attracted to autocrats, and he's got Daddy Trump to help him, and it gives him direction and purpose. But Trump will withhold his love, absolutely no problem with Lindsay. Okay, temperance. Detoxification. If Lindsay's got a drinking problem, he really needs to work on his drinking problems. Again, ask him why he's in the Senate, and I'm getting kind of a different... I don't know if I'm getting the answer why he's in the Senate. This might be answering that previous question of what's going on with Lindsay, which is why we're getting that same signifier card here. If we were asking what's going on with Lindsay, it's about the agreements, and it's about justice. And the justice card was here, and it's the sword of justice. There's some stuff out on Lindsay that he's worried about. It's got him absolutely wrecked. This is going back to that first question. If whatever is released, he's going to be kicked out of the Senate. He's going to be kicked out of society. He's got a drinking problem, and he really needs to detoxify. Lindsay needs to go through 12-step. He needs to go through 12-step something fierce. His life is going to be topsy-turvy one way or another. Lesson to be learned. The overarching energy from the temperance. He drinks too much. He drinks when he's happy. He drinks when he's sad. He drinks when he's celebrating. He drinks when he's depressed. He's not a social drinker. Not a social drinker. And then there's judgment. No, this is not telling me why he's staying in the Senate, even though I asked specifically why is he there. This is going back to that first reading. What's going on with Lindsay? He's in agreement with something. Somebody's holding something over his head. And, again, this is causing him a lot of stress. He's afraid he's going to be kicked out of the Senate or polite society. It has everything to do with, likely with his drinking. And, the parties and drinking to excess type thing. He needs to do that. Trials are coming out. Judgment's going to be made on him. These two are connected. These two are absolutely connected. If word gets out what he's done, he's going to be, he won't be reelected. He'll probably be cast out of polite society, and he'll be judged for it. And again, probably dealing with young men. And there was that hot rumor, again, entertainment purposes only, there was that hot rumor that, he was fooling around with young male prostitutes and the ladybugs and all that stuff. Sorry for those drinking their coffee in the morning, and I just ruined that sip right there. No, this goes all the way back to his behaviors. This guy's been being blackmailed for a while, it appears. Okay. What's Lindsay's way out? Maybe that's a better way to ask it. What's Lindsay's way out of this mess? How is this gonna play out for Lindsay? How does this end up playing out for him? This whole that whole agreement card that we've seen on the last two. Sorry to shift gears on that second question, but it's like, the cards don't make sense to the question. And I've explained this numerous times. You've heard this, but for newer viewers, when I'm looking at the cards, I'm using intuition. The cards act like mile markers, and I use intuition to connect the dots. The cards are the dots. And sometimes when I ask the question, the story that's being told, I'm trying to fit it into the theme of the question, but after a while, I usually get about 3 or 4 cards in, and just like, I'm not getting this. And then I have to sort of stop and go back. It's like, okay, maybe they're not actually answering the question I'm asking. They might be answering something else. And then I have to go figure out what the question is that they're answering. They don't give me any clues, by the way, that they're doing that. So it just, or maybe the clue is I got the same signifier card, and I'm just I'm a dumb orc here, and I just missed the obvious clue. But how does Lindsay get himself out of this? How does this play itself out? Let's find out. And again, entertainment purposes only. How does Lindsay get out of this? How does this play itself out? There's going to be a victory. Or this could be a look at me moment. But there's going to be a victory here. The Drunken Hillbilly Brawl card. Oh, dear. And the Ace of Cups. Pooh. How does this go? Oh, there's going to be so much turmoil. What'll probably happen is after Biden and the Democrats are in, or again, you can't help shake that Trump's either going to bring him down in the turmoil that happens after Trump goes down and starts taking down people with him, or a changing government in Russia could cause that, and then they release information. To me, it's almost like, or like the Georgia RICO case comes out, and everybody is scrambling to blame everybody else for the downfall. But there's going to be a tension on there and strong emotions again. How does this play out for Lindsay? There's a victory, there's turmoil, and there's strong emotions. It's probably after the election. This has got to be our upcoming election, and all the fighting and all the argy-bargy that happens leading up to the November election. And the strong emotions underneath it. Let's see what we've got going on here. In the past, there's your Ace of Swords. That same thing that was in this position in the last reading with the agreements. We've got the victory here, the Ace of Swords in the past. So whatever was, you better do what we're telling you or else, because we've got stuff on you, is leading to this. Current situation is the 9 of Coins. The wealthy woman. Entitlement. The money. Women bringing Trump down. The money. This is Fonnie Willis. This is Tisha James. E. Jean Carroll. What do we have left? We've got, I guess, Fonnie Willis is the next one coming up here. This isn't January 6th. This has got to be the Georgia RICO case, because that's going to be close to the election, too. And the stuff that's coming out. There's Biden. Biden winning. Yeah, Biden's over this. The victory is about Biden getting the victory here. Let me get to the final one. There's Trump. How does he get out of this? There's going to be the victory at the election and all the fighting after that. So we're gonna have another thing like we did in 2020, where there's going to be disputing the election results, stuff like that. And in the past, this probably Ace of Swords, him going down to Georgia. Yeah. Okay. Got it. This is talking about the Georgia case. Remember, in 2020, Biden gets the election victory, and then all the coup plot starts going into action here. And Lindsey Graham calls Georgia to say, to look into matters for Trump. That's what this is. They've got Lindsey dead to rights with that one. He spilled as I led off with this, when he was in the Georgia RICO case, he threw Trump under the bus. So he's trying to balance that, giving verbal support for Trump while keeping himself out of justice and out of a situation like Georgia. He got a good deal with Georgia and with Fani Willis that kept him out of there. This is about Biden's election that Biden won, and then you've got the fake electors coming in trying to unseat him. There's some charity here that came out of this. Like basically, tell us what you know, Lindsay, and we'll cut you a good deal. Font of information, throw some crumbs your way here involving Donald Trump. I was asking how he gets out of this, and they're not telling me that. They're telling me more. It's the same question, more details. About the agreements and the Justice card and the Ace of Swords. So, yeah, everything that's going on with Lindsey right now has to do with the Georgia RICO case. It has to do with the Georgia RICO case. Fani Willis giving Fani Willis some information, and then them cutting him a deal where he didn't get indicted. And it's going to be yet another thing that brings down the Trump presidency. And I think when the Trump presidency goes down, Lindsey's going down as well, because Trump is going to be like a drowning man, and he's going to drag down everyone around him. And Lindsey's going to be one of those people that gets dragged down. I just don't think Lindsey's going to see any legal consequences for his actions. Whatever is revealed about Lindsey is probably going to be, Ace of Cups stuff. It's going to be humiliating, embarrassing. It may not be illegal or criminal, but it's going to be more embarrassing than criminal type of thing. He's going to be humiliated. And again, whatever it is, we'll find out. We will find out. And I'm not saying that as a, investigative reporting thing. We're going to find out because Trump's going to tell us. It's all going to be revealed. Because, again, he's going to be like a drowning man. And if you don't save that drowning man, he's going to grab onto as many people as he can. He's going to take them down to the bottom with him because F you. You didn't do enough to save me, so I'm going to kill you along the way. I'm going to take as many with me as I can, because I can, and that's how I act. That's how I roll. All right, so his thing with Biden, it's just Lindsey being weak, Lindsey being scared, Lindsey being in fear, Lindsey trying to walk the razor's edge, working with narcissists, blackmailers, embarrassing secrets, and all sorts of stuff, coups and everything like that. And he's mostly managing to keep himself out of criminal jeopardy, but the humiliation is constant. Think about it. Think about everything he says. He says, I'm done with Trump, and then like a week later, he's back supporting Trump. It's humiliating. This guy's going through just cycle after cycle after cycle of humiliating behaviors. It's going to culminate in the reveal of what's driving the humiliating behaviors in the first place. And there's a bigger humiliation that's waiting that he doesn't want out there, because I think he thinks it's going to end his career. And he's probably right. But he'll be free at that point. Hopefully he's learned a lesson. Again, entertainment purposes only. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you for your likes, shares, comments, everything you do to feed the YouTube algorithm so that my video makes it out to a wider audience. To folks who've just discovered this channel recently, welcome. I hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.